Thank you. My name is Justice Swinton. I'm with the Workers' Compensation Fund. Most of you guys are used to hearing from Flint. I don't know if you know that I'm not Flint, but pretty soon I'll be a lot like Flint. Tell you the truth, how many of you guys drive as part of your job all the time? Yeah. Shh. I won't tell anyone that then. I don't know if this is the place to start announcing. But Ken, you're so when Flynn asked me to go to the sheriff's department and teach him defensive driving, I was like, that's like teaching electricians electrical safety or something like that. So I was a little bit nervous, but just to tell you a little story, I'm a professional safety guy. Okay, that's what I do every day is work with people on safety. For Christmas, I got my son a hoverboard. My 6th grade son a hoverboard. Okay. To make a long story short, if you want to come see at the end, I have staples in the back of my head. Okay. The point of that story is, what I work with every day is trying to tell people how to be safe. And I knew I should probably have been more experienced on that hoverboard and or wore a helmet and the stuff I needed to. And I'm a safety guy, and I took a shortcut. And I paid for it. Okay? Some of you guys drive all the time and are professionals at it. And same thing with you. If you take a shortcut or are distracted, bad things can happen as well. I'm going to play this video. It's going to take about 18 minutes. And afterwards, we'll discuss it and be done. If you have any questions, write them down and we'll address them. Oh.
We're doing everything we can. Where are you going to? Southwest Noodles. Drive carefully.
Drive carefully.
Can you guys hear it?
Saying it makes it a reality. This is a parent's worst nightmare. Please. We thought she was ready. She thought she was ready.
Come on, it's Saturday. You guys want to quiz me for the driving test now?
Yep.
I'd rather watch cartoons. Get it? Cartoons?
Cute. Well, then think of it like a TV game show then, with animation.
Please, anybody can pass.
Well, not anybody's taking the test. You are.
You know what I mean. I'm ready. I can ace this thing.
Really?
Hey!
Okay, let's see. All right, what's the correct hand position on the steering wheel?
10 and 2.
Not you.
Plus, you're wrong.
What? Is not 10 and 2?
It's 8 and 4. 10 and 2 is the old way.
Well, he is old.
Hey, nobody told me about the change.
It says in here that 10 and 2 forced you to cross your hands too far over for certain maneuvers. Well, later on, Grandpa, you can stare at the pretty picture in the manual.
Yeah, it's funny.
A lower hand position minimizes the risk of injury to your arms, hands, and fingers in case the airbag deploys. Plus, this position, upper arms close to the side and forearms slightly bent, alleviates shoulder and back fatigue.
I wish this were a TV game show. If it was, I'd be winning 1-0. Maybe you should be taking this test, Dad.
She was so on top of this stuff. And we thought knowing would protect her. She thought knowing meant that she was safe, but it would take care of her. Okay? You know what? You want 1 point? You can have 1 point. You're winning 1-0. Now it's our turn. May I?
Sure.
Very much. Let's see here. Scan the road. Well, that's obvious.
Wait, what is?
Oh, we did this one. Every time we went out to practice, we did this one. Keep your eyes moving. Check your mirrors. That's good. And maintain visual awareness of everything in front, behind, and to either side of you. Good. How about proper seating position?
Oh, she and I did that one on our first day. And make sure that you can reach the pedals and the steering wheel and your instruments. Good. Don't recline too far. And your headrest looks good. Let's go. We won't win any points with that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys ever plan on being brave enough to ask me anything?
Here we go. No zones.
No zones? That's ridiculous.
No, not no zones, no zones. N-O, no zones.
Oh. What the heck are no zones?
Exactly, that's the question. Go.
A no zone is the dangerous area around a large vehicle, like a truck or a bus, the places where a crash is most likely to happen, so stay away from them. Because some of them are actually blind spots, the driver has no way of knowing you're there. There are side no zones, the rear no zone, and the front no zone. The right side no zone is especially bad because big trucks and things like that make extra wide right turns. Understanding how to stay out of the no zone can save your life.
How'd she do?
I think she's got her own copy of this thing hidden somewhere over there.
I do not.
She was so good. She knew that book cover to cover. So what did we miss? We wouldn't be here right now if we hadn't missed something. What was it?
Here, driving on wet surfaces.
Okay. What about it?
Everything. Tell me everything a driver needs to know to be safe on wet surfaces.
That's crazy. We can't just tell you everything.
Of course we can. I am not losing this game show. Okay, first thing, just slow down. Less speed equals more safety.
Especially on blind hills and curves. Any place you might need to stop fast. And forget about cruise control. You need to be in full control.
Right, and a light touch on the wheel and the pedals, nice and easy, is the rule for any slippery surface.
Especially the brakes. You don't want to brake too hard or lock up.
If you do lock up and start to slide, stay calm and steer gently in the direction you want to go. And don't use the brakes unless your car has anti-lock brakes. If it doesn't, try threshold braking.
Whoa, how do you know that?
Yeah, how do you know that?
Threshold braking. Keep the heel of your foot on the floor and use the ball of your foot to apply firm, steady pressure on the brake pedal to the threshold of locking your brakes.
Impressive, Grasshopper. See, Becca, most drivers use too much pressure on the brake because they have to stop quickly. So try to remember this technique with non-anti-lock brakes. Release pressure on the brakes by 1 or 2 degrees and then immediately reapply slight pressure. Continue this till the vehicle comes to a stop.
What else?
Hydroplaning?
Yes, I got this. Hydroplaning is what they call it when water builds up in front of your tires faster than your treads can channel it away or your car's weight can push it away. When that happens, you're not riding on the road anymore. You're actually riding up on that water. You actually can be carried out of your lane and even off the road completely.
Which means you have to keep your tires properly inflated and make sure the tread's not too warm.
If you feel that start to happen, let off the gas and be careful not to do any sudden turning or braking. Wait until you can feel the road again.
If you do need to brake, you pump them gently. Don't just push on them.
Unless you have anti-lock brakes, in which case you brake normally.
How'd we do?
Not bad. For old people, I mean.
Oh.
How much longer? I should call Alicia. No cell phones while I'm driving. Becca knew that one too. No cell phone. No texting. Stay focused. Pay attention. No distractions. She was ready. I know she was.
Okay, highway maneuvering, go.
What?
You heard me.
Why not say driving, go?
Yeah, don't tempt her.
Fine. Okay. Highways. Includes things like interstates, state highways, divided highways, multiple traffic lanes. Usually higher speed limits, fewer changes, fewer curves, fewer, what is it called? Variables, or less chance of the road suddenly changing out of nowhere. You're going faster, so you have to keep your focus higher, further ahead, to read the road and the traffic. Be aware of the traffic around you at all times. Use your mirrors to check around your vehicle. A mistake at highway speeds is going to be a lot worse. Slower traffic needs to keep to the right.
She's good.
Are you done?
No. No passing on the right. Always signal and check that it's safe before you change lanes. Never stop on a highway, even if you think you're the only car on the road. Like if you miss an exit. Never stop and back up. Take the next one and circle back. Maintain your speeds, and that's it.
Are you sure?
There's a lot of stuff.
Driving does involve keeping track of a lot of stuff.
You know what I mean.
So are you done?
I can tell I'm forgetting something. Go ahead, what is it?
Two things, actually.
Two?
One, never cross over the median, authorized vehicles only.
Yeah, right. Okay, what's the second one?
Lines, solid and dotted, yellow and white.
Man,
That's right. White lines are okay to cross, but yellow lines, big no-no. What?
okay, that cancels out my median thing. No points for anyone.
I am never going on TV game shows with you, pal.
What?
Solid lines are what you don't cross.
She's right. Solid yellow or solid white means stay in your lane, no changing. White means the other lane is going the same way as you, but you still can't move over until the line is dotted. Changing lanes over a solid white line is a crash waiting to happen. In fact, nearly 65% of all aggressive drivers make unsafe lane changes resulting in crashes, so be aware.
So we still both missed it. Doesn't count. And yes, folks, we're tied. Let me see.
You couldn't keep quiet.
Come on, I
Who had
have
the
it.
book?
I know that.
Did you have the book?
No.
Oh, that's right, I had the book. So should you talk?
No. We were having so much fun. We all felt so good. Like nothing bad could ever happen to us.
Okay, guys, another chance, all right? Breakdowns and flat tires.
Oh, honey, not a great choice.
Why not?
Baby, we have everything like that memorized. This is every parent's bad dream to think of their daughter stuck on the side of the road. They would never not know this stuff. Every parent's bad dream. I said that. I actually said those words. Wish a breakdown was all she had tonight. She knew what to do. We made sure she knew exactly what to do.
So let's go over it. You know you need to be ready for emergencies. Like have a first aid kit, have a cell phone or a two-way radio, and if it's cold, have some blankets, and even some extra food. But that's for possible long-term problems. Now in the short term, there's some very simple things to keep in mind. If you have a mechanical failure or a flat tire or any kind of breakdown,
First, get off the road.
if the car will move, flat tire or not, get yourself into the breakdown lane or somewhere off to the side.
If you can make it to an exit, even better. If you can't, just try to get away from the flow of traffic.
Safely. The further you are from the flow of highway speed traffic, the better. A stopped car is just an extra obstacle that all of the cars have to avoid. The easier you can make that, the better.
Make yourself visible. Put your flashers on right away.
If they have triangle hazard reflectors, put them in the road. But
Be careful. Even turn on your interior lights. Dome light, everything.
especially at night, every little bit helps.
Tie something white to your antenna or mirror. Or hang something white out of your driver's side window.
And put your hood up.
You want to make it super obvious, car and driver need help. All drivers need help. We helped her to study. We even helped her to learn about driving in different places when we visited our friend Gloria Perez to learn about city driving.
All right, so you want to know about city driving? Simple. Take it easy. You want to live, right? So slow down. Being in the city means slow down. It's not 55 like on the highway. The city is 25, maybe. And there's a lot to be careful of and no time flat. And please, don't be changing lanes every 5 seconds. Big whoop, you get to the next red light 3 seconds sooner. You see that thing up there? That's what we call a traffic light, and apparently some people don't know what it is. Yellow does not mean florid. Yellow means if you're not in the intersection already, you stop. And you see those people crossing the street? Pedestrians? They have families and lives, and you know what? They would appreciate it if you do not run over them. Those white lines they're all in, that's a crosswalk. We have them at every intersection, and they're the pedestrians' own private road. It's simple. Don't go through it until they've cleared it. Hey, think things don't happen at intersections? Get these stats. There are over 300,000 traffic signals and over 3 million stop signs. You would think people would know enough to obey these things, right? But they don't. Fatalities at intersections, over 40% occur at traffic signals, over 50% at stop signs. And crashes at intersections, forget about it. Try this number, 600,000 crashes at intersections. Nearly half are at a signal and the other half are at a stop sign. So use your head. Every time you come close to an intersection, every single block, that's red alert time. You have to be super aware. I mean, the city is nuts, right? With all the streets, cars, people going every which way. That's why you have to work real hard and at least try to know where you're going. Study a map. Think about your route ahead of time. And if you're not sure about things, just pull over and study your notes or your map or call someone, okay? You might feel like you don't have time, but you do. You have to. And that's the main thing about the city. You can't be in a hurry. Being in a hurry, not being willing to take your time to do things right, that's what gets people in trouble. So here's the deal. Driving in the city is just slow, okay? That's the truth. The ocean is wet, the desert is hot, and city driving is slow. It's that simple.
She was a little tough on her, but the truth is tough. I don't know. Maybe we should have had her talk to more people. I did take her to see Alicia's cousin, a state trooper, out in horse country.
That's pretty simple. Folks like to think things are the same out here as they are on the interstate. 55 out here, but it doesn't mean the same thing. Interstate's wide open, you can see everything for miles. Here, your situation's always changing. You have got to pay attention. It's not all sunshine and flowers. I've seen a lot of fatalities. Did you know that people involved in a rural crash are 3 times more likely to suffer a fatality than those involved in an urban crash? And some of it is due to those people not wearing seat belts. So pay attention and wear your seat belt. Out here, you never know what you'll get. Like you may be driving and going around a curve, and one thing's for certain, you just don't know what's around that curve. It could be a train crossing, and it could have a train going through it. Could be cows. Yes, cows. Could be a tractor going at his own pace, and he's got every right to be there, and to go as slow as he needs. He lives here. This is his road. You need to respect that. It does take patience driving out here. Find yourself behind someone moving a little slow, you can't just blow past them. You've got to check your lane markings, make sure it's legal. Can't cross a solid yellow. Even dotted yellow doesn't just mean go right on ahead. You've got to check, make sure you have room. Make sure you have time to overtake and get back into your lane. If you're not sure, don't try it. That's one of the rules of driving out here. Not a whole lot of room for mistakes. Take a look at this shoulder. The place where you were hoping there's a shoulder and there isn't one. Come out of your lane here, you're going to snap an axle. Maybe snap your neck. It's peaceful here, that's true. So keep it peaceful and we'll get along fine. It's really that simple.
Simple, right? City driving, country driving. Like all kids, she couldn't wait to go somewhere. Like all parents who were afraid she didn't have the StreetSmarts.
I can't wait till I can just pick up and drive somewhere.
There are rules for that too, you know? Simple rules.
Oh, who are we going to meet now?
It's who you don't want to meet when you're on the road. Trust me.
Man, me and my people love travelers. You people make it so easy for me to rip you off. Like leaving your luggage and your maps and stuff on the seat. Leaving the car door unlocked, windows rolled halfway down. So when we're breaking in, no one will see us. Why park under a bright light with your suitcases hid and your doors locked? That'd be too much work for you, right? Hey, you know what? Forget about the stuff in the car. Sometimes we'd rather just steal the whole thing. Sometimes we catch you getting in or getting out of your car because you don't get it. Look around.
Give him the keys.
And when that happens, you better just hand over the keys. You don't want to see what happens if you make our life harder when you're out there with us. But usually you're in your car, and that's when you can make it harder for us. But you never do. Like sometimes we pretend to be cops. We put on some kind of uniform to get you to roll down the window, and you don't even ask us for ID. Usually, we don't even bother with costumes. Night or day, don't matter. If you're in our neighborhoods, you probably know we're not your best friends, right? Of course, you could avoid those parts of town, but sometimes you don't bother. You drive right through. And even when you don't have a choice, you do stupid things like leaving your doors unlocked and not paying attention. So when we roll up on you, it's too late. If you would keep your eyes open for possible escape routes, maybe you'd see us coming. Maybe you'd get away. But nah, that'd be too much like work. Like I said, you make it too easy for us. All you gotta do is pay attention.
You have to pay attention. No matter how old you are, you have to know the rules. You gotta have street smarts. If you don't, it can be your worst nightmare.
Dad, how am I ever supposed to get my license if you sleep all day? Hello? Why are you looking at me like that?
Just, I'm happy to see you, I guess.
He's weird.
You're telling me.
Hey, do you think you could quiz me a little more on the way over there? I think I could use it.
You know what? I think we could both use it.
Well, then hurry up.
We could all use some street smarts. A little refresher course on the things we need to be thinking about when we drive. Like knowing the rules of the road, paying attention to your surroundings, the cars on the highway, the curves on a country road, the pedestrians in a city, or the suspicious-looking guy in the parking lot. Take your time. Take the time to know where you're going, and don't be in such a rush that you endanger your life or the lives around you.
Dad, let's go! Hurry up!
I'm hurrying, but I'm taking my time. Attention and time. Yes, those are the two big ones. Pay attention, and then you'll have the time to enjoy all those things you're looking forward to.
Aren't you glad it was just a bad dream? Right. So, is there anything that stood out in that video that any of you guys want to comment about? Do most of those things apply here? Yeah. Do you have rural driving in Box Elder County? Yeah, it's the most in the state, isn't it? Okay. Not a lot of city driving, but there's some city driving, and then interstate driving. You guys have any? So, you know, that's all applicable. I was hoping that you guys could help me a little bit. Okay, watching this show, I have a 15-year-old, okay, and I get to drive with him, and it's the same type of thing. Okay, he knows that book, so he always knows if I'm not following it exactly. Okay, and he knows like the rules inside and out. It's the experience and the skill that he doesn't have. Okay, so what would you suggest that I teach him to be safe? What? What do you guys see? What would you suggest? So it's to pay attention to your surroundings, okay? Because that's one thing they talked about. Can you control what other people do on the road? And can they do erratic things? Okay? Before Christmas, my wife did an erratic thing in city driving. She stopped in the middle of the road. And at least that's what the lady behind her said when she rear-ended. She said, "You just stopped in the middle of the road." And my wife got out and said, "Because there was a red light." Right? Okay? But sometimes people will stop in the middle of the road even if there's not a red light. Things like that. So you can't, like you said, pay attention, because you can't expect or control what other people do. Do you guys ever see aggressive driving? Okay. So, and it doesn't matter if it's you know, you talked about the tractor. They showed the tractor. Are there tractors driving on these roads? And do people aggressively pass those tractors? Yeah. Okay. And there's aggressive driving on Main Street in Brigham, right? And you know, even on the interstate. So you know, so good. Okay. Anything else that you would suggest that you pay attention to?
Slow down sooner.
Slow down, yes. And he doesn't really care when I explain how much new brakes cost, because I've said that, okay? Because they don't give enough time to stop, so slow down sooner, okay? And that way it gives you even more time to react if things happen. So slow down. That's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. What's your policy for the county when you're driving county vehicles? Okay. When it comes to electronics. Can you text? Is there a county policy that says you can't? Now, this brings me to something that's funny. Okay, I say this all the time, and you guys may get it. What other company policies that you guys have that says you have to obey the law? Okay. Do you have to wear a seatbelt? Is there a county policy that says you have to wear a seatbelt while driving a county vehicle? Right. But isn't that a law? To me, I think it's odd that we have to come up with corporate or company or county policies that say you have to obey the law. But we do. Okay. So electronics. Now,
That brings up a pretty good point.
Okay.
So the whole electronics thing, I know it's a law, but sometimes I pick my phone up and look at it while I'm driving down the road. Yep.
yeah.
Most of you guys do too, don't judge me. But
Yeah. You didn't see the staples in my head, did you? Okay. So yeah, I'm not judging.
my 15-year-old, she watches me, you know, because she's learning how to drive by example. And so she watches things that I do. And when she gets behind the wheel, she's going to be like, well,
That's a good point.
So even though I feel like I can look at a missed call and see who called me and put my phone back down and not miss something on the road, that doesn't mean that my 15-year-old can do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Especially with the roads and conditions we have today. Okay. I had a safety meeting this morning over in Logan, and you couldn't see what we drove over here, 20 feet maybe in front of you because of all the fog. Okay. Driving to that meeting just this morning, and I don't want to get into too much, but road conditions, you know, and weather conditions. They talked a little bit about wet driving, but icy driving in the fog. A lot of people think, well, the road, I know the road's straight here. I've driven on this road 1,000 times. Just because it's foggy, I'm not going to slow down because I know how the road goes. Well, once again, you can't anticipate what other people are doing. Because what are the prudent people doing on the road when they can't see? Slowing down. Okay? So now if you're going fast and everybody else is slowing down, now that's, yeah. So conditions. I was driving with my son and he wasn't used to the ice. Everybody here has probably slid on ice in a vehicle. Okay? And that's that same thing. Slow down earlier, especially in conditions. Okay? Is there any other things that you guys would want to talk about when it comes to county vehicles? and taking care of them and driving defensively or avoiding accidents. I looked real quick, and I'm not trying to point anybody out here, but there's only been a couple of motor vehicle accidents in the county over the last 5 years, right? Okay. So, so I guess my question is, what causes, besides, sometimes, the sheriff's department, that's a different story when it comes to, they wreck their cars on purpose on sometimes, okay? They're not that to get mad, but, sometimes they have to do things like that. Yeah, there's, okay? But what other things maybe with county drivers would be more of a, of an issue? Do you guys drive differently when you're at work than when you're at home?
Yeah. With law enforcement officer, you drive more aggressively.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. If you're in your home, that's true. Okay. That's a good point. Okay. I tend to drive more careful when I'm on the clock and I know when I'm doing work stuff than it should be. I drive more careful when I'm with my kids. Okay. But I know that I'm going to get in bad trouble at work if I get in an accident, because I was distracted and I want to keep my job. Okay. I kind of like my family, but I maybe don't take the same precautions. I don't know why. Okay. So, and anything else? That was just a quick video. The point is, this is something we all do all the time. Some professionally, you get paid to drive, and on the off time too. And it's one of those things. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you were to die at work, what is the most likely way you're going to die at work? Does anybody know this? Heart attack. Motor vehicle accident. Motor vehicle accidents. More people die at work in motor vehicle accidents. Okay. Now, just about a week ago, someone did have a heart attack and then died in a motor vehicle accident. So, now they're trying to figure out which came first. So that's all I have. I just wanted to admonish you guys to just keep in mind that, just because it's something you do routinely, that doesn't mean it's not hazardous and that bad things can't happen. So thanks for your time and thanks for your attention. Thanks.